Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing good. Now today I've got a very special guest. I'm joined by Scott to chat about the Arsenal vs Southampton game yesterday. We'll just touch on it a bit, and yeah, now it's the next day. We'll kind of speak about it. But thank you, Scott, for joining me today. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you very much for having me. I know it's been a bit of a long time coming, so I'm really glad to finally be able to join the show. I'm excited to have this conversation with you and talk about Arsenal's game yesterday. Of course, I'm very excited about it, given
Yeah.
the fact that we came back and we won. Yeah, because some nerves started settling, especially after we considered our first goal. But after that, at least we were able to, especially after we scored the first goal. That was just that was really something else. That was really crazy. Yeah. So yeah, really happy about how everything went yesterday and excited to join the show.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to chat with you today about it. And yeah, big thank you to you for joining me today. But obviously, the game, I think going to the game, a lot of people kind of thought it might be 3 or 4 nil. I think people expect it to be more comfortable than it was. But how would you reflect on the game? Because it wasn't like an easy 3 points. We had to really work to get those 3 points yesterday.
Yeah, we really had to work for it. Of course, credit to Southampton. That would be my starting point because they really came out to play the way they believe they need to
Yeah,
play. I feel as if the manager has been unfairly criticized. I feel like it's for what he did was, if you think about it, that was kind of brave and it was kind of courageous, and it shows a bit of fighting spirit as compared to being the type of manager, the type of person who would just go somewhere and completely, change how he plays. Yeah, it's good to be adaptable, but it's also admirable what he's been able to do, and the fact that he's sticking to what he believes in. So I feel like yeah, it was tougher for Arsenal than we thought, but then as well as incorporating all the changes that were made to the starting 11, given the fact that Sterling made his first start,
mm,
Thomas Partey was playing in defense. Our defense has been really good this season, but it's also down to the fact that we've consistently picked the same back line that has provided stability. So dropping Thomas Partey back into defense and Jorginho in midfield, Kai back in midfield, he was kind of playing the Odegaard role today. You could see him really coming off the right to combine with Saka a lot of the time, as well as trying to progress forward as interchangeably with Jesus, which he did pretty well, which is something he's also been doing exceptionally well with Trossard. So yeah, fair play to him also for scoring. He keeps on scoring at the Emirates. That's 7 games now. So
yeah.
I think anyone who had everyone who has been speaking, ill of Kai, trying to make it seem as if they got a bargain deal. It's starting to seem as if Arsenal are the ones who really got themselves a striker who knows at the end of it all might lead Arsenal to winning something really big at the end of the season.
Yeah, Havertz has done so well right this season. And I think at home at the Emirates, I think he does even better there. And it was great to see him get that goal. And it was such an important time of the game when he scored. And it was just really nice for him to get that goal. And that really got us back in the game. It felt to me that that's sort of when we started to wake up and really change in the game. So I'm just happy we won, to be honest. But we did make a lot of changes for this game. And I was personally surprised. Do you think it was Arteta? Do you think he just wanted to rotate the squad because we've had a busy schedule, or do you think maybe he underestimated Southampton a bit, or what do you think on the rotation side of it?
I feel like, as it's been said before, and as it's coming out to light this season, especially given how we've been able to play and the tough away games that we've already had, Ateta has a very vast understanding, or probably he's able to deploy different tactics based on the game, different formations, different players, trying out new positions, interchanging with others, trying to
Yeah.
come up with something that is really hybrid and isn't very predictable, so they can be able to break down teams in different ways and be able to get results with having teams not being able to anticipate what Arsenal are going to do. So I feel as if it's not about underestimating Southampton.
Mm.
I think the fact that he'd have studied the fact that Russell Martin was going to come to the game and deploy his own style from start to go, because he was big on doing that. Like I said, he was, which is one of the things I felt as if he was unfairly criticized about in the past, because I've seen a couple of interviews and reactions from
Mm,
even from pundits in the media and stuff like that. So I feel as if, yeah, that was one of the main points for me. So I think it's not about him underestimating. I feel as the changes were healthy. We were able to rest Martinelli, have him come on and make such a important impact to the game, given the fact that he's the one who scored our second goal that got us to be able to start leading the match. So I feel as if the changes were necessary. It was a
yeah,
game that we could be able to rotate. So I feel as
yeah,
if it was the right time to rotate. So yeah, I wouldn't say that on Ateta's part it's actually something that praise him on, because he's finally learning how to rotate his players. The one thing we just need him to do is to finally learn how to rotate Bukayo Saka, so that we can be
yeah,
able to make sure that he remains fit for the rest of the season. Osaka is pivotal to everything we're doing. He's him. Saka is the
yeah,
one who's going to take us to glory, and that's it. So we need to be able to ensure that he stays healthy, and so we also need to find a way to be able to rotate him in the games, because I was actually one of the biggest surprises for me this season is the fact that Saka started in our Carabao Cup
yeah,
fix. So that was one of the main cause. I thought we'd actually see someone else start on the right, but still picked Saka. So it shows that we need to be able to solve that. Once we're able to solve Saka being able to be rested, then, and this season, given the fact that we'll also be able to rest Odegaard probably a bit more because of Ethan Nwaneri, who's
yeah,
coming in really well and is starting to show what he's really about. And I feel like he also deserves his chance. He needs to be able to start a game in the Premier League this season. He needs to be given minutes in probably start the next our next fixture in the Carabao Cup. Let him, yeah, let our progress this season in that cup be down to our youth. I think that would be a very big statement to be able to show that what we're about, and as well as to have more prospects coming into the team. I mean, we have Saka, who is, well, not even, I wouldn't say arguably, for me, he's best winger in the world at the
yeah.
moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Saka's. I think it showed yesterday his performance. Like even in the first half, I know it wasn't our best performance, but you could really see he was trying and he was working to make things happen. And it's just obviously great as well. The second half he had because he obviously did amazing. But he's very a good player. I mean, would you put him in the category of being world class? Because I know a lot of people think
No
he is.
argument
Yeah,
about it. No,
yeah,
no argument about it. You can't argue that Bukayo Saka is not world class. He's been consistent for 5 seasons. 5 seasons. Give me another winger apart from Mohamed Salah, who's been that consistent in
yeah,
you playing for his club and in Europe for the past 5 seasons. Anyone else, and I'll be able to have that argument with them for the past 5 seasons. So yes, Bukayo Saka is world class, and there's no argument about it.
yeah.
He is world.
I definitely agree. Like I definitely
You
put
can't,
him in that
anyone
category.
who, even if you remove if you look at the Southampton game yesterday, Saka's assist for Martinelli's second goal, that was just beautiful.
Yeah, it was
I mean,
amazing.
that
Like
was wow.
I
Yeah.
know I
So
watched that over and over. It was amazing.
exactly the way he curved the ball and just for he know he's starting to learn what different players require and how they need the ball. Because Martinelli will run to the farthest corner. That's why he was able to score, as well as Kai Havertz is trying to get a header in. We saw Marino come into the box a
Yeah,
lot in the game. That was one of the things that also stood out for me. So that means we'll also be seeing him making a lot of late runs into the box. Hopefully, get a few goals himself and really settle in into the squad, and probably even with time, get his place in the starting 11. If he's able to show that he can do better than, okay, he probably not be able to. Okay, not even probably. He definitely not be able to take Odegaard out. Odegaard
yeah,
is a assured starter. Probably Thomas Partey, given the amount of games he'll have to play. If he can be able to slot in and really grasp the party role, he can be able to probably now establish himself in the starting 11.
Yeah, I think it's the lineup as well. I mean, I think if you look at Arteta as well, like it worked yesterday. I mean, obviously the first half wasn't great, but I think overall, the second half was much better, which is what we want to see. And I wanted to touch a bit about Martinelli because obviously, since the start of the season, there's been a lot of talks. He obviously didn't start off too good, and now his confidence is picking up. He scored a great goal yesterday, which obviously we spoke about that. We could watch it all day. Obviously, Saka of the assist, but with Martinelli, would you say he's sort of back to sort of the Martinelli that we know, or do you feel like we've got to sort of take it each game at a time and just hope he has a good season?
I feel like Martinelli is he's starting to go back to the Martinelli we know and love,
Yeah,
to the Martinelli who tore up the Premier League, was in the Premier League team of the season. That's the standard that we're holding him up to at the
yeah,
moment. Whenever anyone judges Martinelli, that's why we feel as if he's had such a slow start to the season. But comparatively, if you look at it, he's still doing. It's just that he hadn't scored and he hadn't probably gotten a goal contribution in a while, in a few months, which happens for most strikers. He's still young. That's some of the things probably people would overlook. He's still young. He's still as much as he had such a big impact. The fact that we changed our squad, one of the biggest contributors to the season that he had was Granit Xhaka.
yeah,
Uh, so the switch from Granit Xhaka to Declan Rice in our starting lineup and how it ended up changing the dynamics of how we play also affected his output because he had to do more to be able to score or get into position of scoring as compared to when he was playing with Xhaka. Because Xhaka would connect easily with him, have those 1-2s, and be able to open up space on the left and drift in and score most of the times. He used to get a lot of perfectly weighted balls in the right areas that helped him be able to be more productive that season. So I feel like as we move on and with the introduction of Mikel Merino into our midfield, we'll have a different dynamic that can probably unlock him, as well as one of which I believe is probably the signings of the season, Ricardo Calafori, who has come in and slotted in perfectly as well into the starting 11. He looks like the real deal from the past few days, how he's even yesterday, how he was tackling players, getting the ball, driving it into midfield, and really pushing the team high up the pitch. You can see that he's also going to be one of the factors that can really help us be able to unlock Martinelli and be able to make him go back to his best and probably even better than what he because it's still a long season. He can still outdo what he did
yeah.
one season ago and probably even do better. Who knows?
Yeah,
You
I
never know.
think
You never know what will
yeah.
happen.
I think at the moment, it's looking good for Martinelli, and I think, like you said, Calafiori coming in has definitely helped him as well, and I think they work really well together. So I think it's definitely looking good, but obviously so far, really happy with Martinelli, and let's just hope he can have a successful season. And I think players sometimes can go through those times where they lack confidence, but it seems to me like he's coming back now to his best, which is obviously what we want to see. And I wanted to ask you a bit about Sterling and Jesus yesterday because I think with Jesus, he's had a lot of injuries. He's come in, and I think yesterday I don't think he did too good. And I think with Sterling, I feel like we've got to give Sterling a bit more time to see what he's about. Like we obviously saw him in the bottom game; he had a good performance, but I think yesterday he had good moments. But I suppose throughout the season we do want to see goals from Sterling, and the same with Jesus. But yeah, I just wanted to get your thoughts on their performance yesterday.
I feel as if one what I'd say about Sterling, I agree with you. He needs a bit more time to be able to integrate into the team. I mean, I'm really interested to see how he would play on the right, because I feel as if one of the reasons we signed Sterling was to put to lessen the how much we rely on Bukayo Saka on the right. So I
Yeah.
feel as if that would be something really interesting to see because he's played there for City. So probably I'd be interested to see how he'd fare on the right as well before giving my judgment. But from the first doesn't look as if he's 100% settled. Of course, the other game was a Carabao Cup fixture. It was bit easier for him to make his impact, because in the Premier League is where he really needs to be able to show his value and be able. We need to be able to see the different talent that he said he would be, or he is, or we are going to see what he signed for us. So I feel as if we need to give him time as well.
Yeah,
Like many players have said, Mikel's ways and tactics are pretty different from anything they've seen or experienced in the previous clubs. So I feel as if even taking that into consideration, he needs to be able to have time to be able to adapt and make his impression. I know he's going to have a very important role. Given probably further injuries that we'll face, he might even get a run of a couple of games to be able to really show that he can be able to impact our success this season. For Jesus, I feel as if I've seen a lot of negative comments from the fan base, and I personally, I don't like the type of reaction that we have sometimes once players have a rough patch of games. And if you go back and listen to Mohamed El Neni, he really echoed that, and there's a statement that he made, and he said that you are a supporter, so that means that you support a player through tough times and
yeah,
through good times, yeah. Which also means that we also need to start, because we've been having a lot of discussions around mental health of players. Sometimes players aren't performing because they aren't in the right environment, in the right
yeah,
condition, because you can't keep on abusing someone and expect them to come out and perform to the high standard every time. There are those people, there are those players who can handle that and still be able to consistently give out or consistently produce really good performances. But for some players, it affects them. It really gets into their skin, and it might affect what you're seeing on the pitch. So I feel as if it's also it's he also needs time. That's true. We expect
yeah,
more from him. Like I said, it's same thing with Martinelli. We expect a lot more from Jesus, given the impact he had when he joined, because he was really instrumental to everything that we did in the first season that we challenged City for the title in 2022. So I feel as if with Jesus, he also needs to do more. That's
yeah,
true. You can be able to criticize a player and not abuse them or make them feel as if they are not worth playing for Arsenal or anything like that. I feel as if that's wrong. You can criticize a player, but not get it to the point where you're abusing them, or you're making them feel bad about themselves. But you're allowed to criticize a player based on how they play and give positive criticism, and also allow them space to be able to show that they need to grow, they need to learn, they need to reintegrate. Because it's case by case. If you look at Jesus, given the number of injuries he's had, like you said, um, these are injuries that have really affected how he's been able to
yeah,
come back. Given how he plays, given the fact that he's a player who likes to dribble, who likes to beat a number of players, he needs to be able to be at his best. He needs to be able to be quick, to be swift, to be able to make turns, be unpredictable. So, given the fact that injuries like that take time to be able to recover, even getting back into the rhythm of games, and if you look at how Kai Havertz has been performing this season, Jesus won't get a lot of chances to be able to prove his worth, because we
yeah,
also have to look at the greater goal who makes us better. It's Havertz at the moment, not Jesus. So we're definitely going to stick with Havertz, but that doesn't mean that we need to start. Same thing we were saying when it was Edin Ketia. We need to stop making players feel as if they don't deserve to play for the club simply because they've not had a
mm,
couple good, even sometimes a spell without scoring or without. Because I feel as if a lot of players go through that, but it's how we support them that helps them come back, become better, and eventually helps the team be able to be a step closer, be able to achieve the goals that they had set out. So I feel as if they both need time, but especially on Jesus, he also needs to do more. He needs to be able
yeah,
to, yeah, he needs to be able to fight for his position. He needs to be able to show. He needs to be able to start getting himself back to the right positions to score, to assist. He needs to be able to contribute more, to be able to fight to be able to challenge Havertz at least. Because, like I said, we have a so many games this season. There are going to be multiple chances for players to prove themselves, because we're going to have to really heavily rotate. So if given we still have to play the FA Cup, we still have so many games to play in the Champions League, and if we're able to keep on winning, if we're able to beat Inter at the San Siro and also win our next game, we'll be in a really strong position that we can be able
Yeah.
to now start rotating our team moving forward. So I feel as if he needs to be able to give Mikel Arteta a chance to pick him
Yeah.
over anyone else in that position. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's a tough one with Jesus first because I think, like we said, he's had an injury which has been a bit of a setback for him, and obviously the season he has a bit of an injury to start off the season. And I think with Havertz, I think they've both sort of got to fight for their players, and obviously at the moment Havertz would probably start over him. And for me, I'm not a fan of Havertz in the midfield unless he has to, and there's no other options. But I think with Jesus, it's a tough one, really. I mean, like you said, if this is going to be his last season, or if it depends on how long Arteta wants him to stay for. Like you said, we do have to get behind him and support him. And obviously, criticising players is fine, but like you said, I know fans can take it too far sometimes. Obviously, that is not okay, but I think it's perfectly fine to sort of criticise players because I think with Jesus, like we want to see a bit more from him, don't we? We expect more from him because we've seen that from him before, and there's such a high standard at Arsenal now where we've got these expectations of players where if they don't perform as we've seen, it's obviously a bit disappointing. So I do hope Jesus, like we said, the Carrow Cup games could be a good chance for him to maybe start, because I know when Sterling started against Bolton, that really helped him with his confidence. And I think with Sterling, obviously we have to give him a bit of time, and obviously it was his first start yesterday in the Premier League. So I think the more we see him, I think the more we'll probably get an idea. But I think with Sterling, we have seen him come off the bench more. So I think we'll have to just sort of see how that goes. But I do really hope for both of them it does work out. And yeah, I'm really just hoping that they have a successful season, but I think we need to give them time. Like we said, the season has just started, and I think it's sort of unfair to sort of judge them. And like Martinelli as well, I think Martinelli is doing good at the moment, but I think at the end of the season you could really have the conversations of what a season he's had. But I think now it's a bit early to sort of judge them yet. But obviously, like you said, I think it's so important to sort of get behind the team, because I know online you do see a lot of negativity, and it's obviously not nice to read. And I know the players will probably see it sometimes, so it's obviously not nice for them. But I definitely echo what you're saying about in time they'll definitely hopefully see more of them. And if Jesus doesn't have a great season, I just think even getting behind him is important, and he'll really appreciate the support, whether that's at the Emirates or just online with fans getting behind the team. So I definitely agree with that. And yeah, I wanted to thank you so much for joining me today. It's been really good to have you on. And before we do round up the show, do you want to just tell people where they can find you on social media if they want to give you a follow?
Yeah, on Twitter it's Scott Muriuki. I think probably once it's out, I'll also echo on that. Yeah,
Yeah,
so I'm also happy for the I was happy to get an invite from you, and I'm really glad to be on the show. Probably we will do more things moving forward, and
yeah,
really happy to have the chat with you today. And hopefully things go right this season for Arsenal, and we're able to have a lot of celebrations, and probably, and not even probably, definitely lift
yeah.
some trophies at the end of the season. So yeah, I'm
Oh,
happy to be here, and thank you.
oh, you're very welcome. You're welcome to call on any time, and it's been really enjoyable to chat with you about the game. Obviously, even better after a victory. But yeah, please do give Scott a follow on Twitter, and yeah, hope you guys are watching this back, have enjoyed this, and please before we go, don't forget to smash the like button on this video, subscribe here if you are new, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.
Yeah, have a